welcome back to my channel. Chessie here, aka MissCheekyholic. So today we are going to do something different. If you guys watched my channel before, you know that I am an eyeshadow junkie. I love collecting eyeshadows, I love creating different looks, but I am not a makeup artist or a professional. So how I do my eyeshadow, I just experiment on the looks and practice, and of course, watch YouTube videos just like you. So today I am going to share with you a dupe that I found for the Huda Beauty Desert Dusk. This is the Bad Habit Beauty Athena. So this is not a new dupe anymore. This has been a dupe for the Desert Dusk for quite some time now. But personally, I want to test it out and compare and review the two. I am going to start a series which is called Which Looks Better. So this is a series of dupes versus high-end palettes. Well, mainly palettes, but we'll see in the future if we can make it to other makeup products. So on my eyes, I have two different palettes. One is the Huda Beauty Desert Dusk, and the other one is the Bad Habit Beauty Athena. I want you guys to guess which is which. Which do you think is the Huda Beauty Desert Dusk or the high-end one? I'm so excited to share my thoughts on both palettes. So without further ado, if you want to see how I did this look and also know my review and comparison for both palettes, then please keep on watching! So to start off this look, first I primed my eyes with my Club Clio Kill Cover Professional Concealer. Then for my base, I placed Purity all over my lids on the Athena palette. For the Desert Dusk, I used Desert Sand as my base. For my transition shade, I placed Velour above my crease. I decided to put some tape to help create that wing effect for the shadows later. Went back to Velour and did my transition shade once more. Same with the Desert Dusk, place Eden as my transition shade. For my crease, I'm using Lore, focusing it below our transition shade. Then for the Desert Dusk, I'm using glazing and did the same procedure. I placed Justice, focusing it at the outer corner of my eye. Then placed Amethyst, doing the same procedure on the Desert Dusk. Now for blending, I used Lore again to help marry all the shades together. Same procedure with the Desert Dusk, placing glazing again. Now I'm placing concealer at the inner part to the middle of my eye. For my favorite part, the lid shade. Using a shader brush, I pat the shade Wisdom on top of the concealer. For the Desert Dusk, I used Royal, doing the same thing, tapping the product on top of the concealer. Now I'm just cleaning the edges by using the same brush I used for Wisdom without any more product left. Then now, using my finger, I'm patting Epic on top of Wisdom as a topper for my lid. Again, did the same procedure using Twilight from the Desert Dusk. Using Justice again at the outer part of my eye to marry all the shades together. For the Desert Dusk, using Amethyst again, focusing it at the outer corner of my eye to blend the shimmer shade with the matte shade. So I wanted to warm up my look, I placed Power on my crease. Then Saffron, using the Desert Dusk palette. For the lower lash line, I placed Velour all over. For the Desert Dusk, I used Eden and did the same procedure. So I want to intensify that purple shade, so I used Justice. For the Desert Dusk, I used Amethyst. I just realized that I should have worn my falsies after I did my eye makeup. Oh well. Now for my brow bone highlight, I placed Purity. Then for the Desert Dusk, I used Desert Sand, same as my base. For my inner corners, I used Gleam, this iridescent beautiful shade. And for the Desert Dusk, I used Retrograde. So this is the completed look. For the lips, I used the Huda Beauty Liquid Matte in the shade Icon, then topped it off with Bombshell. Okay, now for the review for both palettes. So as you can see, on my right side is the Huda Beauty Desert Dusk, or the original one. And on my left is the Bad Habit Beauty Athena, the dupe affordable version. On my eyes, I didn't know if you guessed it right, that this is the Huda Beauty Desert Dusk. Looking at myself in the mirror, it's spot on. It's really a good dupe right off the bat. But they are different from each other. So the formula of these shadows are very different. First, let's review the Bad Habit Beauty Athena. So this is how it looks like. It is very beautiful. The design is very minimalistic. It has an ombre pink and purple design with gold geometric triangle. I really love this design. Then when you open it, it has a magnetic closure and a mirror. The mirror is very nice. You can use it when you travel or just when you do your eye makeup. So it is very sleek. So you can see it's very thin, and it's actually the same size as the Desert Dusk. But this is lighter than the Desert Dusk because this is a lighter cardboard material. You can already see just by looking at the shadows, they are spot on the same color selection from the Desert Dusk. That's why I did the same or very similar looks. On the Athena one, the shadows are softer shadows. So the mattes in here are very soft. They are smooth and buttery. But because they are softer shadows, it has a lot of kickback and it is very powdery. So you have to tap off your brush a couple of times so that you won't have shadows on your face, and also do your eye makeup first before you do your face makeup, just to be safe. The mattes also are very pigmented. They are more pigmented than the Desert Dusk. I don't know if you saw it on the tutorial, but this was more pigmented. I really love the mattes on this palette. The kickback and the fallout, you can still make it work. You just have to tap off your brush and just wipe off the shadows on your face. Now for the shimmer shades. The shimmers on this palette, compared to the Desert Dusk, I would say that it is not even comparable. It can look very similar on the eyes. You can see that it is similar. I don't know if you even guessed that this is the Desert Dusk. But what I found out with the shimmer shades, even though they are very smooth and also very buttery, you have to layer it a couple of times just to make it even with the Desert Dusk. But when you layer it, it becomes very patchy. I don't know if you can see it on this eye. I had to layer it maybe 5 to 6 times the shade Epic. So I think for the shimmer shades, it is best to wet your brush, because on the tutorial, I did not wet my brush on both palettes. But for this, I would really recommend that you wet your brush. Also, I realized on this palette that compared to the Desert Dusk, it was harder to blend. I had more time blending on this side than this one. But besides that, this is very affordable. You can find this in shophush.com. Here in the Philippines, there are some resellers or Shopee sellers who sells Bad Habit Beauty Palette. I'm just gonna put it here where I got it from, and also put the link down below if you guys want to purchase this. I only got this for 1,100. Now for the Huda Beauty Desert Dusk. So this is how it looks like compared to the packaging of the Athena. Even though I did like the packaging of the Athena, the ombre effect, there are no words on the packaging of the Huda Beauty. It is so beautiful because it's Huda Beauty's eyes. Now inside, there's also a magnetic closure and there is a mirror. Same with the Athena, but this is heavier. Now for the formula of the Huda Beauty Desert Dusk. These shadows have a drier formula. So it is not as buttery and smooth as the Athena one. The matte shades on this palette have no to less kickback at all. So that is a very big difference from the Athena, because the Athena was powdery and it has a lot of kickback. Here, I didn't even need to tap off my brush and there was just a little bit of fallout on the palette. Now for the shimmer shades. The shimmer on the Desert Dusk are very different from the Athena one. It may look very similar on the eyes, but as you can see on the Athena, as what I mentioned before, it was becoming a little bit patchy already just by layering it too much. The shimmers on this palette are very smooth and buttery and also very pigmented. You just need a little bit. Just tap off your finger and wow! This is my favorite shade, Twilight. I'm going to show you. Can you see how reflective? I am just so in love with the formula of the shadows, especially the shimmer shadows. For the mattes, I also noticed that it was easier to blend than the Athena one. So I really love how this blends on my eyes. I did not have a hard time blending on this side. On this side, I had to a little bit work with this palette. But of course, the price of the Desert Dusk. This is $65. It is very expensive for an eyeshadow palette, an 18 eyeshadow palette. Now here in the Philippines, there are some resellers who sell this for about 4,000 to 5,000 pesos. That is a lot of money for an eyeshadow palette. For my final verdict, which looks better, if we are talking about the formula and how the eyeshadow looks, I will still go with the Huda Beauty Desert Dusk. I really love how this looks. But of course, the price is again a downside for $65. This Athena for $12 is a great dupe. You can create the same looks because it has the same color selection. Now, if I didn't have the Huda Beauty Desert Dusk, I would be fine with the Bad Habit Beauty Athena. And also, the downside of this palette is just that it's just powdery and there is a lot of kickback. But you can work with it. Even how it blends, the pigmentation is great. Now, the blendability might not be as good as the Huda Beauty one. This is a great palette and I highly recommend this if you are looking for a dupe for the Desert Dusk. But if you are an eyeshadow junkie like me and you like experiment on different formulas of eyeshadow, and if you don't mind paying a lot of money, then yes, go for the Huda Beauty Desert Dusk. So yeah, that completes this video. Thank you guys so much for watching. Thumbs up if you like it. And comment down below if you want to see these kinds of videos. I'll be sure to make a half and half of the high-end versus the affordable or the drugstore palettes. Please subscribe if you haven't already. I'll see you on my next one.